Hello again, I'm Coyote Jack, and I saw this meme, and we can rant about it a little. So I hope you're having a pretty good weekend. And something that has been pointed out for quite a while is how graphics in modern slop looks way worse than the oldest one. And at a graphical level, detail level, at gameplay level, the the details, all the that stuff, those arguments can easily be pointed out. And well, when I saw this meme, yeah, you have noticed this before. So even I just going to read you this quick one. A studio is 4 times smaller than an average studio. Design models and draw every textures on Windows 98 somewhere. Render is in a server pack that's weaker than a Chinese smartphone. And modern days, it's literally impossible to make a game look like this. So how could you explain that? Yeah, you used to have talented people that actually cared to deliver the good stuff, and they were competent, and also they knew the tools. Nowadays, because the tools evolved so much, but well, the not only wokeness hit it, the greed of these corpos that say, yeah, we are not going to normalize hiring incompetent people just so we can actually make them deliver those games with even if they are not putting the effort that other developers that they were far more skilled in the past put out, and we are going to make shit tons of money, and the exhaustion is quite notorious. And even for games that they were stylized and say that they were also doing some realism, well, Resident Evil, the first remake, looking at this one is kind of nostalgic because seeing the reflex on the floor, the illumination, the details to the graphics, the scenario, it was this one looked like an improvement when the original Resident Evil codes Veronica. Yeah, if everyone remember Veronica, yeah, I still think that. Man, I'm really glad that they are never doing a remake of that one. Yeah, I would rather have seen Veronica only as a remastered port for the Xbox 360 and the PS4. I will not want to see them how they even desecrate that one because I know they can push it with censorship on my boss bitch and well, other many examples of Capcom because they are so filled with the AI nowadays that yeah, something that even like it was not like kinda exaggerated with Cold Veronica. Yeah, they will and rivalry. They will fucking re. You know that. But even this game, the original remake of the first Resident Evil that released on the PlayStation One, looked quite impressive, and it came from a fucking console, the GameCube, which around that time, a console that actually had better performance at graphical level was the PS2 and the original Xbox. But you still had developers that they will put in the effort. Not anymore. Just like with these techs, they are making fucking excuses. And this one not only apply for survival games, third person shooter games, third person, sandbox, RPGs, or games that push in more realism. I said on this channel that I'm someone that enjoy racing games, and I know that genre has been looking to decline. But what you're going to see is the example of the first image. That this one is on fucking point and actually hits my nerve. So I'm going to tell you this a small story. Need for Speed Most Wanted to 2012 was a reboot for the original Most Wanted of 2005, the one that had the peace filter. That one was so dogpiled, tortured, insulted by many of the Need for Speed fans around that era because this game was Burnout Paradise reskinned with licensed cars and just slapping the Need for Speed name on it. And that was on the time that they wanted to do the mother audience from that era. So yeah, they were doing this shit, not catering to the original fanbase that they either stick it with the original Hot Pursuit games or the black box era because at this time they already buried that studio. So they did a Burnout game and slapped Need for Speed on it. But even considering those factors, when the Need for Speed brand was on a decline, it had good details. The driving still was enjoyable, even though it was break to drift because that shit triggers a lot of the ones that really enjoyed gripping driving. But you have details like the lightning, the climate, the fog, the reflections, the car damage detail. The sounds of this game were actually impressive to this date. I'm really enjoying hearing the Lamborghini Aventador, the Bugatti Veyron, this Porsche 911 Carrera S. Um, I remember the DLC. I remember the McLaren F1. I really enjoyed hearing that one. I played it this shit a long time ago, and I started with the Seven Seas because yeah, that game was kind of expensive and lackluster to me. And even something since it's funny, I mentioned this that I sell it the Seven Seas on PC. Yeah, I eventually got an original copy for this game for precisely the PS3. Before doing that, I played this on a game that didn't have a graphical card. And if I lowered the settings, like yeah, fog, reflection, the graphics, the anti-aliasing, the resolution, like I was almost at from 800 wide screen to 600 wide screen. You had a lot of details to run this game if you didn't actually achieve it with the hardware. But I could run it. That's the important thing. I could run this shit. And still with all of those that downgrade I already applied through the settings when this game released it looked similar like this. It looked like kind of with the details that at least I was hoping to experience. But still, the sound design, the tires when the sound they make when you were drifting, it was still there. Even I know the music was not like the past with Most Wanted, Underground, Carbon, Prostrate, or even Undercover. It still was enjoyable. And what is the comparison with this one? That you're probably asking yourself at this point, me mentioning this. Where are this? Need for Speed Walkbound, PS5 to 2000, 22nd. Two generations between. One fucking decade in between. And within around that time, and oh, look at this shit. Looks bland, doesn't have reflections on the road, the rain doesn't make any difference, the buildings just look like fucking depressing. Compared to this one that had a lot of details. Even look at the fucking building. Uh, Look, let me zoom in. Look at the details here. Even with like kind of like simulating some lighting inside. Even though there were some textures doing that. Even you could say, oh, well, it's not that important. Look at this one. Look at fucking this one. Just looks kind of fucking dog shit and sad. And look at the art style. This one is the I remember. They said we're doing some anime art style. And what these fuckers that streamed this game that they are not going to admit is that this game is woke. It actually is filled with DI to no end. You have like your average Sumer protagonist with Sumer one manufactured problems, while the black girl is the one that can do no wrong. All the women in the game, in all of this fucking dog shit of release, can do no wrong. You have the DEI bullshit like the pronouns that look, I'm Mexican and I'm non-binary. The same shit like what drag queen Edge fell hard. Oh, I fucking student loans. They should forgive the student loans. They don't know we are the future. Narcissistic, aristocratic mentality for a very fuck up decision when you decided to go to college to study art. Progression, even with a high side like the artistic side, yeah, it's woke and dog shit. At graphical level, it looks worse. The gameplay mechanics are worse. Looks and are worse. No even attention to detail, like reflection, the fog. Man, even with the drain system on the road, or well, I call it alcantarilla, like it's like the cap of that one when with the drain system that is usually on the road. That one had its own fog mechanics. You could actually see the fog, even when all the lowered settings are at the bare minimum. You could clearly see those details. This shit, even in a fucking PS5, are not there. So yeah, this problem of games that are currently releasing around this time with powerful hardware compared to the past one looks worse, plays worse, and they're selling it at overpriced amounts of money, like $70 for this shit versus this one $60. And we are talking about our already declining franchise around 2012. So yeah, it's true that modern games, especially from AAA, are looking way worse. And if indie developers really want to dig themselves into my graphics, they really need to pay for all of these attentions because if you're going to push realism for the God of love, at least consider all I mentioned it. Because this shit it used to be there. Not anymore. I'm just going to stop it there. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you're having a pretty good weekend and please take care.